Hey, it's Steve with another 98 Rock Test Drive. Wright Way Hyundai, West Main and Waynesboro is the place to be today. We've got another great vehicle to tell you about. And this is actually one for most of 2021 we've been talking about. They have now shipped a bunch of them. We're starting to see them on the roads. You may have seen one of these and you're saying, what is that? Well, today we're going to go through the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's the first pickup truck from Hyundai. It's based loosely on the Hyundai Tucson crossover. You'll see some design cues. Rob's going to bring a lot of language to that I don't already have, but Hyundai is terming this their sport adventure vehicle. It's not a pickup truck. I might reference that a couple of times, or maybe a lot during this video, but it's really what they're calling a sport adventure vehicle. It is a four-door vehicle with a full room inside, kind of based loosely again on the Tucson crossover, but then it's got a 4-foot bed on the back that gives you a lot of utility. So this is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Let's bring in Rob Hansen. Rob is always my friend with all of the information that I don't have. Answer all my questions. So this is something really we've been talking about for a lot of 2021 already, right?
It's been long awaited. A lot of people have heard rumors for years that Hyundai was planning some type of pickup truck, and they've invented their whole segment for it. So Hyundai keeps saying this is not a pickup truck, this is a sport adventure vehicle, yet it wins best pickup of 2021, which is pretty funny.
Well, it must fall into that because it's got the bed in the back, and we're talking about the dimensions. It's a 4-foot bed. You're not going to haul, you're not going to take this to construction sites. You're not going to haul 4x8 sheets of plywood. But what you can haul in this for the typical kind of family or outdoor folks really does lend a lot of utility to this segment and to this line. And you talk about years. It was kind of introduced a couple of years ago at an auto show you guys were talking about, and then it took Hyundai a little bit of time. They wanted to get it right, and I think for the most part they have. There's a lot of positives about this vehicle.
Yeah, they really wanted to knock it out of the park their first time around. People are scared when a new segment comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna work? Is it not?
Sure.
So they put a lot of thought into it, and there's a lot of small details in it that just really show how much they put into this, and labor of love.
Well, pop the hood on it. I know in this particular one we can get our choice of two different 4-cylinder engines. This is the SEL trim line on the one we've got here. That's going to be the smaller of the two. And when I say that, it's not to be negative on it at all. It's got enough power to zip it down the road. It does kind of alter a little bit on the towing capacity and on some of the payload numbers. But again, we're talking about what you're looking for the vehicle to be designed for, what you're going to use it for in your family, right?
Yeah, it's a 2.5 liter MPI GDI engine, 177 horsepower, 3,500 pound towing capacity. And then you do have the optional 2.5 turbocharged, with 277 horsepower,
right?
5,000 pound towing capacity. So
yeah, and a lot of people will try to compare this to the Ford Maverick, which is also out this year. That's really a different vehicle. I mean, it's more of a pickup truck, but it's in the same size, so people are going to naturally kind of compare the two. If you look at the front fascia, it's a lot of what Hyundai's become known for over the last couple of years. I love the LED running lights. These are so cool. And then, of course, you do the headlights down low. Well, I say down low. It's a little different look from other manufacturers, but really this has come, it's not a gimmick anymore. This really looks good, is functional, and really sets it off as a Hyundai, right?
Yeah, and this is receiving a lot of awards as far as safety goes. It's been nominated for a top safety pick right now.
Sure.
They're still obviously working on it to get that final rating, but having the headlights down low really does help with that safety, as far as giving plenty of visibility as well as not blinding other drivers.
And having these work right into the front fascia, they kind of disappear in the daytime, but they really look cool at night. So check those out.
It's a really sharp look on it.
If you come around to the side, we'll do the profile here. And again, loosely based on the Tucson crossover, but the body is a little bit different. You do have the 4 doors. You got the same relative size cabin inside. We'll look at that a little bit later. But the dimensions to get the 4-foot bed, it doesn't look huge. It's not huge.
No, it's not a large vehicle. It is larger than the Tucson, so it is its own frame. It has a longer wheelbase on it. It's a little bit wider than the Tucson.
Gives a very stout feel on the road.
Yeah, it's actually close to the length of a Palisade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is, Also still considered, it's not an extremely large SUV, so it's a good size.
I'm going to point out a couple of things here before we take a look at the back, because the full story on this, of course, is the bed. But you start to see some little Easter eggs here, which is, I love these little design cues. The little profile of the Santa Cruz in the wheel arches here, and then in the tactile feel on the plastic surrounds to keep chips from rocks and pebbles down. That's also a great item. They carry that back to the back, and we're going to take a look around the back here in the bed and really I'm going to let Rob show you a bunch of the great features this has in the bed. The 98 Rock test drive this time, the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Really the story of this, it's a great vehicle from end to end, but the story of this one is the bed. So we'll spend a little extra time on the back of this vehicle. Rob Hansen from Wright Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro, does kind of have a styling cue that nods to the pickup truck segment, even though they do call this their sport adventure vehicle with the name embossed in the sheet metal. I do dig that. I like that a lot for some reason, because it is a nod to the Rams or the F-150s or the Silverados of the segment, saying, hey, we can carry some stuff too. I like that a lot. But the tailgate and the bed all have a bunch of functionality that you're not going to find anyplace else. Like I noticed that you can open the tailgate two different ways, right? You've got a button right here, but then you also have it on your key fob.
Yeah, you do have a button here on the key fob, and it's a slow open on the trunk, so it's
dampered. That's great.
Glides right on down for you.
So you don't have to worry about the big thunk. It's not heavy either, so it's nice and easy to close. Now, this particular one comes with, what'd you call it?
It's the activity package.
Activity package.
So that adds the tonneau cover, adds things like a sunroof, and a couple bed options in here as far as a power inverter and LED lighting.
Yeah, what I love about the tonneau cover is it provides, of course, weather-tight coverage for what you want to haul in here. You got groceries, you got something you just want to keep out of the weather. It is weather-tight. You can lock it. But it's also easy to push out of the way. I'm going to do this. I haven't tried it. You guys were showing it to me. You just push up on the handle. It slides back, sort of like the cover on a roll-top desk kind of thing. Right there it is. You got full access to the 4-foot bed. Now, we talked about the engine. The payload is about 1,500 pounds.
Safely around 1,500 pounds. Hyundai will state, you'll see in articles, around 1,700 pounds. That's including passengers.
Sure. Yeah. And again, the what did you call it again?
The adventure package.
Adventure package. I'm going to get that right now. Comes with things like this, which extends the utility of the bed, so you can have something a little longer that sticks out over the tailgate. It's also got these great tie downs that you guys were showing.
They latch right into the trunk latches down here on the side, so it doesn't flap out on
Very cool.
Which is really neat. Yeah.
Keeps the vibration down as well, but it's easy to pop out too.
It really is. You just put it up at an angle and you give it a tug, and it comes right out.
I'm going to let you set that down there for just a second, because we do want to take a look at this. There's all kinds of storage in this bed. It includes right here, if you just pop this up and lift, like magic, there is extra storage in here, again, if you want to keep something way out of view. But it also, if you're going to a tailgate, you'll notice there's a little drain plug here. You can put ice in here, right?
Yeah, you can. It doubles as a cooler as well, and it's airtight. It has a weather seal around it, and it's a really handy feature to have.
You got kids going to soccer, county soccer or something, and you want to take some juice boxes, or you're going to a tailgate and you want to take something a little different. You can put it in here, open the drain plug, and let the water leak out at the end of it, and that is just so cool. Great functionality for the bed. There's also a couple of storage cubbies on either side. Yours is special on that side, on the passenger side, because it also comes with that power inverter.
Yeah, it's a really great feature back here. So same thing, if you're tailgating, you want to plug something in back here, you can do that right there. It's 115 volt.
Yep. And it's going to power your radio. It's going to power whatever you need at a tailgate function kind of thing. You get the LED lights in the tailgate, which is so great, or in the bed area.
That's part of the package, as well as the bed rails here that run along the side that you can adjust up and down the bed to,
And it's also nice that they give you the hard points, the hard point tie downs in all four corners as well, to secure things. You're going to haul something a little tall.
They put so much thought into this bed. I mean, even to the fact that this tailgate right here, you can unclip these and adjust it up to this point, and now the edge of your tailgate is on the same level as your wheel wells there. So if you're hauling up, say, a large piece of plywood, it will rest level in the back of the bed, which is just, small things like that they really thought of.
And we were talking about the reach over. I'm 5'10", I can get in like this, that's fine. But they've also designed in these footrest, or I should say step, in the bumpers to allow you to jump up if you need to. But again, the vehicle itself sits low enough to the ground that most people aren't going to find that.
Even the tonneau cover here, you can stop it halfway. So say if you have this rail system here in the back and you close the lid, you can put your groceries down in the back. They won't slide around, and it's just a nice handy spot to get to them and have half of it covered up. Very cool.
And again, we see the little Easter eggs we were talking about earlier. You see here on, I love this in the bumper cover. Again, it gives you that tactile feel for non-slippage, and then of course they slip in the profile of the Santa Cruz. I love that. The other thing, I'll bring Dominique around here, Dominique on camera this time. And I saw this, and I don't know if you can see that in the sunshine there, but it says designed in California. Tell us what that means.
So,
I mean, I know what it means, but what does that mean for this vehicle?
Obviously, everybody knows Hyundai is a Korean, South Korean car manufacturer, but this vehicle was designed, developed, and built all in America. It's actually not even available in Europe. This is strictly an American vehicle.
And I think the design in California, it's built in Alabama. The design in California kind of nod here kind of leads you to where the vehicle functionality and kind of the feel of it kind of has that cool vibe. You know, family of four taking some kids out, as I said, to a soccer. You go up in the mountains. You got four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. You can certainly go on a ski trip with it. It's kind of that vehicle, hey, I need a little extra utility over an SUV or a crossover, or maybe my partner has an SUV or a crossover, I need a little hauling capacity. This is perfect, right?
Yeah, it's it's that kind of mixed-use vehicle.
Yeah.
You go to the office during the week, and on the weekends you want to throw your gear in the back, you want to go up hiking in the Sierra Mountains. That was the whole point behind this vehicle. Go out surfing for the day. It's
and it's not huge either. We're going to find that out when we take it out on the test drive. It really does feel great on the roads. There's lots more functionality that we haven't even touched in the bed area. Rob or any of the folks here at Wright Way Hyundai, West Main and Waynesboro can walk you through everything that we've talked about, plus then some. So come by and see it. We're going to take a look inside the cabin because there's a lot to see in there too. Before we all get in the cabin, I wanted to show you the back area. It's got a lot of room in here for kids or for adults. Of course, it's not a cross-country vehicle to ride 6 adults in comfortably, but it's got certainly enough room for 4 in here, and plenty more storage. They really put a lot of thought into this. Rob, across there, there's storage under the back seats, right?
There is. Both seats lift up, and there is storage underneath. On one side, your jack is held. On the other side, it's open storage. And even for this back seat, so the seats aren't so straight. If you look at the way the car is designed, it actually allows a little bit of a recline on these seats, which just makes it a little more comfortable. You're not sitting straight forward like you would in most small pickup trucks with a rear seat.
Can you pop up the bottom there just to show what we're looking at? Now, you've got some new stuff in there because it's a brand new vehicle, but you can take that stuff out. There's things in there that you wanted to store on an ongoing basis. You got kids, that's a great place to put some stuff.
Yeah, and this entire bin is actually removable. There's a couple screws that hold it in there, so you can take this out altogether if you got large cargo you're trying to slide in here. And again, your jack's on the other side, but that's also removable.
All right, I tell you what, let's get in the front and take a look at what the driver and the passenger see. Inside the Hyundai Santa Cruz for 2022 here at Wright Way Hyundai, West Main and Waynesboro. Rob Hansen, I'm Steve with another 98 Rock Test Drive. We talked a little bit about the outside, showing a little bit of quirkiness, some funkiness, some coolness. It's a brand new class of vehicle. But when you come inside, Hyundai's taken great pains to make you feel comfortable. You know where everything is, especially if you've been in another Hyundai. This is going to reference a lot of the Tucson that we talked about. Everything's in a great place. It's great ergonomic feel to this. They really do have this part, and a lot of parts of the vehicle, no doubt about it, but the interior, they've really worked hard over the last 5 to 10 years to really get it right?
Yeah, and with all Hyundais, if you've ever owned one before, then you're going to get in it and immediately feel familiar with where everything is and where everything's located and how it functions. And, for new users, there's a lot of redundancy built in. There's a lot of several ways to get where you need to get by using the touchscreen or physical buttons that make it easy.
That's important to people because if in a lot of vehicles, there's one way to do it. I can reference my own car. And if you don't learn how to do that, or if it's uncomfortable to you, you get frustrated with it. So if there's multiple ways to get to the finish line on how to set up your radio or how to set up the dash or whatever it is, it just makes it takes that comfort level to a higher level.
Yeah, they just try to take in mind, different people are going to try to get to do something a different way, and it's, how can we have all those options available to them?
Now, this one is an SEL, which is kind of the mid-range. Great feel on everything in the cabin, great tactile feel, great surfaces, work surfaces, hard surfaces. You can go up, of course, to the Limited and get a lot more. You can go down as well. This is kind of the mid-range. But it comes with a lot of safety features, and that's one of the other things Hyundai's become known for, along with its warranty, which we'll talk about, is you get a lot built in for the money.
Yeah, even the base models, they come with lane keeping assist and frontal collision avoidance. And I mean, it's, really amazing. You step up to the SELs, you're going to have blind spot detection and blind spot collision avoidance, and the list goes on and on.
And in this one, of course, we have the lane keep assist we talked about. We also have come standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Right?
Yeah, and it's wireless.
Oh,
as long as your phone is able to do it. We have had some people with difficulty using the wireless because you're going to need those newer kind of flagship phones for that function to be available. So there is a USB plug for phones that don't have that functionality.
A couple of USB ports down there for charging. That is cool. Dash itself, again, ergonomically, it is laid out very, very well. I just love all the surfaces and the way it feels. This one comes with heated seats. I know also if you step up to the Limited, you get like cooled seats and
cooled
all
seats,
kinds of
heated
stuff, right?
steering wheel. Yeah.
Oh, somebody's got a phone call. The other thing you're going to run into down here is I see this button here, and a lot of folks may look at this for the first time. I don't know if Dominique can see that, but it's going to look like you're locking out a front diff or locking out a diff on a four-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive in this particular model, and what this does, and you can explain this much better than I can, if you're on slippery roads, this is what you want to take into account.
Yeah, so just like most all-wheel drive, modern-day all-wheel drive systems, it's variable. It can send different percentages of power to every wheel. And when you push that button, if you're under 60 miles an hour, that tells it to do a perfect 50-50 split between the two. So in really bad weather, it's not ever going to go just to front-wheel drive. It's going to leave that on all the time as you're driving.
Gotcha. So it does come with a lot of features at this level and a lot of cabin openness here. You can see out. And I guess the other thing is, in kind of looking at this, from the front you may say, oh, it looks like a Tucson. You're not going to notice that it's the pickup in the back. A lot of people are going to like that. Or I shouldn't say pickup, I should say
sport adventure vehicle.
Sport adventure vehicle. But then on the side, it's just got that cool vibe to it. It's got the little Easter eggs that they've built into it. They've really put a lot of thought into this.
They have. I love that there's no bezel over the gauges. It just really cleans everything up, and this nice curved look that just kind of gives it a little more roomy feel to it. And you're sitting higher up, you have a good view, but it's still going to handle like a car, which is nice.
And again, it comes with all the appointments interior. We've got the sunroof in this particular for the SEL, which I love. Check it out, Wright Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro. Anything else on the interior? I think we covered. I know I was going to cover the dash in the different settings. You can run through the drive modes, which I love on this. The sport, and of course we've got to change for something. You can run through this.
So they do have a little Easter egg for the cluster here. If you're feeling a little funky one day and you want to see something different other than gauges, they have this cube mode, which is very interesting.
Dominique, who's younger than both of us, thought this was the greatest thing, or she commented on it. I saw it online and I thought, well, this is kind of cool. You can change up you can see I'm going to give it a little gas. That's what it looks like on the RPMs. Maybe for some folks, maybe not for others, but again, it's changeable. It's in there. It's one of those other hidden Easter eggs that I love about these kinds of vehicles.
It's really neat. And then, you can also change it to your normal, linking it to drive mode. So if we're in sport mode now, you see everything is red and, no explosion happens.
Yeah, and these things I love these kinds of things because it really does, in this case, not extra money, but for not a lot of extra input on the buying end, you get to make it feel like it's your own.
Yeah, and it feels, it feels futuristic. You got a screen there now, and it's a mid-trim level car, which is, it's really good bang for your buck. That
you can put into and make it look exactly like you want it to. We're going to take it out on a test drive here next with Dominique. Behind the camera, let you get a sense for what it feels like on the road. We'll talk a little bit more about it. If you want to find out more, come see this guy or any of the folks here at Wright Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro. It's the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz test drive time here on another 98 Rock Test Drive. I'm Steve. Dominique has taken over the passenger seat here for Rob. As we've talked about the cabin a lot, it's really easy to get to know. We talked about some of the modern efficiencies on the outside, especially for the class of vehicle that it has become. Interior, you're going to get comfortable almost right away. You see the rear view camera here is just perfect. It gives you the full view in the back as you take off. And again, it's got the four-cylinder engine in it that we've talked about. There's a couple of different choices. And the big difference on the choices, yeah, there's some horsepower differences. But in this vehicle, it really comes down to what you're going to plan on using it for. Are you going to tow a small camper with it? Are you going to haul mulch in it for your house? Are you going to do a lot of things around the home that are going to need the extra capacity? You might want to go with the upgraded engine a little bit. That's going to take you up also into one of the next trim levels, which is cool as well because Hyundai does their trim very, very well. But you're going to find that either engine you go with gives you a lot of zip, like we're zipping out here on 250 in Waynesboro right now. A lot of pickup, great transmission, and just a great tactile feel for the driver, great light sight lines all the way through the cabin. Now, one of the things that a little bit of a trade-off in this type of vehicle, because they wanted the 4-foot bed and because they didn't want it to be any longer than it ended up being, things in the back of the cabin a little bit tight. But let's face it, how often are you going to be carrying 4 adults or 4 tall folks? It's going to be okay for the average outing, but certainly if you're going to go cross country in it and you got 4 6-foot people, probably want to use a different vehicle. But they know that. That's not what this is aimed at. This is aimed at a very specific group of people, group of buyers, and I think they've really hit it. A lot of people are going to want to compare this to, say, a Honda Ridgeline, a Ford Maverick, and the reason that doesn't hold up is the Maverick really is an entry-level pickup truck. I mean, it is a pickup truck. Now, it's got some issues with its payload and all of that, but it really is more of a pickup truck. This is a different class of vehicle. If you can remember back to the Subaru Brat from years and years ago, that was a 2-seater, but it's got that kind of feel to it. It's a much more modern version of that class of vehicle, and I think Hyundai has really hit it out of the park with this. So we head up 250 here. Just a lot of easy pickup, a lot of easy driving, a lot of easy sight lines. You don't really feel like you've got a 4-foot bed behind you. And again, you can haul comfortably about 1,500 pounds payload in the bed. And you're going to be able to haul or tow with one of the engine capacities, about 3,500 with the smaller engine that we have in this one, or about 5,000 pounds, which again is more than the Maverick. A lot of folks may want to also compare it to the Honda Ridgeline. Honda Ridgeline is a step above this. The Honda Ridgeline is more aimed at, say, the Ford Ranger or the Chevy Colorado. That's a whole different class of pickup truck. So if you've been thinking about some further utility with a storage bed, a tonneau cover, those kinds of things, this is really almost the singular option that you're going to have today, and it's a great option. I just love the way this kind of zips down through traffic. One of the stories that Rob had told us about is that they've had, probably close to a dozen of these things go through the dealership. They don't stay on the lot. And I was talking to him about this earlier. Hyundai has now started to ship more of them. There's been some differences and some, of course, we've all heard about supply chain issues across all industries. But Hyundai is starting to ship these out. You're going to start seeing more of these, and for great reason. They are a great vehicle. It's the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. You can check this one out and find out more. Ask any questions you have on them at Wright Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro. See Rob or anybody else and check it out. We're going to do one more segment where we'll kind of wrap it up and kind of give you the overview. It's on the way next. Hyundai Santa Cruz for 2022 is what we've been trying out today. It's a brand new class of vehicle. Hyundai is calling it their sport adventure vehicle. And you're going to call it a pickup. That's okay. They don't mind, but they're going to show you why it's different. We showed you that it was designed in California, built in Alabama. It's a North American vehicle 100% of the way. They're not available in Europe. These are only available in the U.S. Designed and made here, by the way. That's kind of what sets this apart with some of the design cues that we've talked about. Things like it's a different vehicle from the Ford Maverick. If you're looking at a small pickup truck, this offers that utility, but it is different and it's going to be more expensive for a variety of reasons. But it comes with more. This is going after a crossover buyer that needs some utility. and maybe you have a crossover in your family and you need something else, this might be a second vehicle. Certainly does offer that utility. Cabin itself, comfortable and quiet. Dimensions are good in the front, a little bit tight in the back, but certainly more than usable. The steering, the power, the safety features, all Hyundai trademarks. And of course, this is a Hyundai. That means it comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, which is best in America. And we've talked about that before. You can see about it online anywhere, but it is the utmost in warranties on vehicles these days, and this is going to come with that. Drives like a crossover. You wouldn't know you're in a pickup truck, especially when you're looking out the back. The only telltale sign might be the rear window that opens that looks like a pickup truck. Hyundai interior is very nice. And all of the utility that we showed you in this bed. I can see myself when I was a little bit younger and had kids going to soccer practice, this is where I'd be sitting. I'd have a radio here perhaps. You've got the 110 power outlet, 400 watts. You can run just about anything that you're going to want to run at a campsite or at a tailgate. It's got the underground cooler or storage, or under bed here, I should say. The cubbies on each side. The tonneau cover, I can't tell you how this is so cool. Plus, it's got a 300-pound capacity on top. So if you got something in here and you need to hold a box, you're going down to the big box store and you got a couple of things, you can put something up here up to about 300 pounds. Check it out. Hyundai calling it their sport adventure vehicle. It's the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Love this tailgate too. And it's right now available at Wright Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro. Come see them.